Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back, baby. Let's go. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport.
Monday.
And today, it is the Barnes, Tony, Michael show.
Wow.
The weekend that was, and as always, there is so much to talk about. We don't have a spare second.
Oh, wow.
Let's sprint into the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it, Skip! And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game! Out of sight!
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Too deep to left field. There it goes! See ya!
Huh?
And you have that. Wow, Michael coming in early with the
Picking
baseball
up where
commentary.
he left off. Aaron Judge silencing early on in the contract talk. Is he gonna do? How is he gonna? I think he's gonna do just fine. Barnes, what do you think?
Michael, you already know the answer to that.
How hyped are you, dude? Two games, opening weekend. How are you?
I mean, first of all, let's just talk about how I wasn't expecting to go to either. So to go to both.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yesterday was just unbelievable. And shout out to GAF Roofing for hooking it up with the tickets. Section 112, row 1.
What? Gaff Roofing?
You cannot beat that. We had such a good time. And I would also was telling you guys before, and definitely look out, give us a little time to get it together. But Matt, an unbelievable job with the GoPro yesterday. So we're going to have a nice vlog documenting every step of the way yesterday. It was just such an awesome day. You love that direct train right to the stadium. We had one drink at Stan's. It was loaded. You guys saw
what were you drinking?
My Instagram, just a Budweiser, and
but heavy.
And then actually we went, just for good measure, we went Fireball. Shot before we went to the stadium. Yeah.
Whoa.
And then
Matt too?
No, not Matt.
Well, I haven't had Fireball in
but
forever.
me and Mark and John. So that was great. And then what was cool too, so we get to our seats, got there just in time. First pitch, long lines getting into the stadium, as you can imagine. Yesterday, nice sunny day. They added something this year, and I know you guys would be all about this too. Where Uber Eats will deliver right to your seat anything.
Wait,
food,
serious?
drinks, so you don't even have to get up. Reason doing that is because of how quick the game goes, the pitch clock and everything, so they don't want you to miss any of the action.
Wait, but deliver anything from anywhere?
Like in
the stadium.
And I didn't really look thoroughly through it, but it's a watered down menu. It's not like everything in the stadium, but your generic stuff, a sausage and pepper, your beer, that type of thing.
And it's through Uber Eats.
Correct.
But is it like a stadium employee?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just as a sponsorship deal. They have
Tony's
them.
like, geez, they're taking jobs.
But I thought that was great. And really, both of these games just completely fly by, with the new rules and stuff. So that's why it's nice that they have that Uber Eats feature. And we'll talk about, the game yesterday in a second, but just wanted to shout those things out. Obviously, since we were last here on Friday, Saturday was tough. They were off Friday, but Saturday was a 7-5 defeat. And it started out pretty good. They got a break in the first inning. Stanton hit into what you thought would have been a double play. Alex Cobb airmailing it into center. So that scored Aaron Judge. And then Stanton actually hit his first home run of the season, an absolute bullet to right field. So 2-0 lead after 3. You're feeling pretty good. Clark Schmidt, obviously making his first start of the year. Seemed like he was in control. But a low sinker, Jock Peterson golfs it into right field, 404 feet, 2-1. Couple batters later, Brandon Crawford, the last link of those Giants 3-time world championship teams, hits a 2-run homer, 3-2. Clark Schmidt gets the hook. Anthony Rizzo with a nice double to make it 3-3. And then Michael King, some bad luck. He runs into the Giants, scored 2 runs on infield singles. So, I mean, that's one of those things. I mean, what are you going to do? So that made it 5-3. And back from the dead, and I am still not a fan, as you guys saw on my Instagram stories all weekend. Donaldson does hit a home run to left, a rainmaker home run to left, makes it 5-4. Of course, it doesn't end up meaning anything because the Giants add 2 runs in the 9th inning, a Yastrzemski double, a Brandon Crawford single. So that made it 7-4. Clay Holmes running into a little bit of trouble there. I think it'll be just fine, but obviously it was a tough appearance. The Yankees do rally though in the bottom of the 9th. Judge with his single scoring. Who else but Anthony Volpe, who's been all over the base paths these first 3 games. 3 steals in the first 3 games. That's what you want. He had 50 last year in the minors. So made it 7-5. Stanton's up, bases loaded. So obviously could walk it off. Only 1 out, and he hits into a double play. Rockets won, but right at the shortstop. So that was the end of the game. Yankees tried to challenge, but that was unsuccessful. So it was a 7-5 loss. And one thing, and I was talking to Bill in our office this morning about this, you love about Stanton, we'll get to what he did yesterday in a second, but accountability. Right after the game, he said, I failed the team multiple times today. I got to do better than that. There's no excuse. I mean,
I've never heard him say that.
How often do you hear of any player, you know what I mean, say that? No one has any accountability these days. And that's something that Stanton has always stood in the face of. And like when he's been booed at Yankee Stadium before, never complained about the fans, not like some of the other stuff we heard last year about players, complaining about people booing and stuff. So that's why I just love Giancarlo Stanton. He really is a unique and special player. But obviously that loss yesterday set up the game Sunday, the rubber match, Yankees looking to take this series, and everything really couldn't have went more according to plan. You had Johnny Brito making his major league debut, and especially for a guy who's making his major league debut, really was a strike throwing machine, got them through 5. And just really was controlling the game from first pitch. He looked like he had live stuff for sure. Final line ended up being 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. In what ended up being a 6-0 win. Bullpen did good. You had Cordero make his Yankee debut, 2/3, 2 Ks. Marinaccio, a clean inning in the 3rd, striking out all 3 batters. And then Colton Brewer, as Renee comes in just in time to talk Yankees, making his debut, 2 scoreless innings, closing down the door there. So pitching, everything you could ask for. Now, in terms of the offense, Aaron Judge with his 2nd home run of the season, hitting it to left center, kind of a line drive bullet home run that goes 392. So just, showing the strength of Aaron Judge, how far he can hit a ball. And speaking of how far somebody can hit a ball, Tony, Giancarlo Stanton, 2nd longest home run of his career, 485 feet.
Unbelievable.
Over the batter's eye in center field.
Is your 2nd longest?
2nd longest. He had 509 in Colorado, 2018, whatever. Point being, Tony, I mean, I sit up in that batter's eye all the time. I mean, no one hits one up there, and he hit it over the batter's eye. The pop off the bat, me and Matt were just talking about it this morning. I mean, it really is unbelievable how far, how hard, he can hit a ball. It really is unbelievable. And then how he just admires it after. The crowd was going nuts. So that really set the tone for the day. That made it 3-0. Higashioka added a solo shot in the 4th to left to make it 4-0. In the 7th, Rizzo with a sac fly scoring Volpe. So like I said, stealing bases, scoring runs. You love to see that. So that was 5-0 Yankees. And then Gleyber Torres on a wild pitch, scoring the 6th and final run of the game for the Yankees. End of the day, 6-0. And like I had said, just what a great day from start to finish. And, Matt was just talking to you about just that viewpoint of being so close to the action. You really can't beat that, and you really get a feel for the game. So it was just a great day, great atmosphere. And it's just so nice to win your first, series of the season. And you really walk out of it, because there's been times where the Yankees have lost 2 out of 3 to start the year. You feel kind of uneven. You don't have a good taste in your mouth. But now, you just feel great. I mean, Stanton and Judge are going. I mean, they've been the keys to this lineup for years. And I know that there's other factors, other variables. Of
Don't
course.
miss it.
But the thing is,
hold on to it.
when they're going, I mean, it's pretty scary what the two of them are capable of doing. And
Terrifying.
And it was just refreshing to see too Brito step up. Obviously these pitching injuries, and of course, Rodon, will be back before you know it. Hopefully Sevy's right behind him, but you never know with him. But you just feel so good. And it was just a great weekend. And I can't wait to see this vlog. Like I said, Matt did a great job. But what an afternoon at the stadium, and I can't wait for all of us to go to a game this year. Let's go.
Oh my God, I can't wait for that time either. How's Volpe been hitting?
Yeah, so he had 2 hits on Saturday.
Right.
And I want to say, let's see, yesterday he was over 3, but had
Can't
a
wait
run
to say
scored,
bust.
stolen base. So it just looked really good. I mean, you're scoring runs, you're stealing bases. I mean, that's what you wanted out of Anthony Volpe, and he's really answered the bell there.
Yeah, I mean, again, talk about answering the bell. I mean, to have the weight to be a Yankee in general, let alone like someone to be brought up with his type of like urgency and just expectations. I mean, I think he's totally just blowing it out of the water. It is pretty early. And it's funny because I was listening to, unfortunately, Gordon Damer this morning. He was in for
I heard
Dave.
that too. Wait, but wasn't Dan Grassa too, or was it just Gordon? And I was thinking it was Dan Grassa.
I think it was just
Gordon. Okay.
But he was like kind of getting kind of tight at Yankee fans because they're like putting Volpe on
he
this
a Mets fan?
pedestal. No, he's a Yankee fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure, Michael.
Come on, dude. No, but even Rick was like talking about how great Volpe is. Like, oh my gosh. And,
my, that was the softest touch I've ever
know.
seen.
Wow,
Use
dude.
that clank. But anyway,
But what do you think about it? Do you think people are already like putting Volpe on this pedestal and you think it's too early? Or
No, I just think this is one of those things, we have to break everything down. We have to measure
Right.
reactions. And it's like anytime a guy comes up who's your top prospect in your organization, a top prospect in baseball, a first-round pick only a couple of years ago, a guy who's 21, there's going to be expectations. There's going to be hype. That's just part of Major League Baseball, and it doesn't need to go any further of that. You don't come up as a top prospect with no expectations. That's just not realistic.
Right. No, yeah, I totally agree, dude.
I believe we have
But
a
he is
comment.
doing great. Yes. Donna Barnaby says, "Good morning, guys. Great job on the Yankee coverage. Great job bringing back a Yankee win, Brian. Go Yankees."
Let's go. Right.
Well, I think she's as hyped as you are.
Oh, of course. And that goes back a very, very long time with the Yankees in our household, Tony, as you could imagine. And Yankees,
Mother's Day trip.
Yankees will get back on the diamond tonight, hosting the Phillies, who actually lost 3 games to the Texas Rangers. And I was actually watching the K-Rod cast last night just to get a sense of it. And Pudge was on, which was pretty cool. So he was talking to A-Rod about a variety of just different things when they were in Texas together. So that was pretty cool. And obviously the Rangers are pumped up, with all the talent that they have this
Corey
year
Seager?
and off to a good start. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien.
They beat the Phillies.
Yeah.
3 times.
3 times. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they were pumped up about that. And, Phillies, obviously that's tough. And tonight, it'll be nice to see Nestor Cortez. He had a little setback in spring training. So that's why, what is this, the 4th game of the season? And, he would slide in as your 2 starter with the injuries in this rotation, but they're leaving him as the 4 for right now. And part of that too, maybe just kind of keep him in there the whole way because that's where he'll be, most likely, I guess, once Severino and Rodon come back. I mean, you could argue Nestor should probably actually be ahead of Severino. But that's something, we'll just have to keep an eye out for. But an interesting pitching matchup tonight, Cortez versus former Met legend, Tony Taijuan Walker. So we'll talk about that
dude.
in a second when we pick a couple games. But I am just so excited. I'm going to go to another game in like a little less than 2 weeks. So that's going to be great. And looking to set a record this year. We'll
I hope
see.
you do.
You're on pace.
Yeah, we are on
What
pace.
is your record?
Yeah, dude, what is it?
Tell the people at home.
If I had to say, I think it's somewhere around 13 to 15.
If you
13
had to
and
say, I
15.
need you to get facts here.
Well, that's what we're counting this year, Michael.
I want ticket stubs.
But yeah, I want to say
you're basically saying
I'm
you're
12.
gonna
It was probably 12.
you're gonna
honestly.
have a year. How about we say this? You have a year where it's undeniable. This is the year.
Yeah, and this is the year because there's a special feeling in the air. Michael.
Yeah,
Let's just leave it at that.
I agree.
So that's just awesome.
It's special, Tony. You would
awesome
understand.
stuff. And I'm excited to see what Nestor, brings tonight.
Me
I
too,
think
dude.
It'll be nice to set the tone. I'm really liking. I've always said this to you, Tony, because I think at times, he's caught a lot of slack. Obviously, he's had injuries, inconsistent performance. And you think about what he did after the All-Star break last year. Stanton has always been one of my favorite players. Obviously, Judge is my favorite player, but I'm saying, second to that. He really is just a specimen. It's unbelievable. There's not another guy out there like Giancarlo Stanton. The strength that he provides.
No, yeah, I think you're right, and I think he also, I feel like, gets, he's kind of casted in the shadow of Judge because Stanton is still like 6'6" or 6'5", right? Like huge body, dude. So I just feel like everyone always talks about the the size of Judge, which is what kind of overshadows Stanton. But sometimes he doesn't really help himself, like you said, like the injury, like not being really available to play the field a lot too. Like
I think that's changing this year.
No, that's what I mean. If he changes that this year consistently, I think his narrative as a player, obviously it gets better, but it's going to be totally different.
And I just think defensively too, when Harrison Bader comes back, that's a hell of a defensive outfield. Judge in left, Bader in center, Stanton in right.
How do you feel about IKF?
It was funny. Who was I saying? I think I was saying this to actually, Bill in our office this morning. It's funny, like as much as I don't like IKF at all, but it is funny how, any day of the week, give me IKF over Aaron Hicks and Josh Donaldson. And I know obviously, they're, I guess, focusing on IKF in the outfield. You would think to trade him. I don't know what else the purpose of that is. And then Hicks made some comments too. He doesn't know what his role is and wants to play. And it's like, you have no leg to stand on. Nobody wants to hear one word from you.
I really couldn't imagine, like, talking about his role. He's not good. How could he can't be an everyday player? He's very available. Like your role, dude, you should be like off the team. Should be your role. I don't know why.
It's just something that really doesn't deserve 1 second of attention.
What's the deal with his contract? We owe him a lot. The Yankees owe him a lot of money,
including this year, 3 years, $30 million.
You have to clip that.
Sheesh.
Clip what?
We have to clip him saying, "Do we owe him a lot?"
Yeah.
Because that means he's a Yankee fan.
That is
I'm just a New York fan, dude. Speaking purely as a New York.
Slowly becoming a Yankee fan.
Oh, dude, stop it. No, it's not gonna happen.
Oh man, but hopefully he can get out of there, as soon as possible. And it was funny. I a couple of times in the stands yesterday, I did like the Donaldson. You want to actually do something? Everyone was getting a kick out of that. That it'll be nice. Like those are the couple tweaks: the Donaldson, the Hicks, the IKF when they're off the roster, and then the guys who are injured come back. It really is going to be great. But great way to start. And it's like, all right, let's win another series. I think that's the important thing here. You don't have to. Obviously, you want to win every game, but you have to be realistic. You're not going to win every game. So I think you're winning consistently 2 out of 3. You're going to get to where you want to be. And that's going to be the goal in this series. And I do like the advantage we have, in the pitching matchup here. I think the Yankees should be able to hit around Walker. Like I said, we'll get to it in a second. But let's go to the Mets, Tony. Obviously, a nice start to their season. 3 out of 4, the only blemish the game we saw the tail end of on Friday night.
Yeah. It was definitely a tough loss here. And we'll get to Befur's comment in a second.
Yeah, Befur can wait.
I saw that. Dude, I don't know if you noticed, but he's been tuning the screen time a lot, and he hasn't really been doing anything with sports. And now,
maybe he doesn't feel good about the Mets, and I know he's always kind of shied away from me going after him.
Well,
too.
probably now, Mets went 3 out of 4. All of a sudden, he comes in with a comment, dude.
But it's not about the Mets.
No, it's not. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it anyway.
Verlander.
Friday. I feel like start David Peterson, right? He gets into some issues right away, seemingly having not a lot of control, right? Giving up 1 run pretty early. And, for David Peterson, it was someone who, I talked to you about his spring training, and he did phenomenal in terms of not letting up any runs, but struggled with control and had a lot of walks and stuff like that. But he ended up having a solid line, 5 innings pitched. You want maybe another inning out of him, 8 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 5 Ks through only the 84 pitches just because of that lack of control. But I don't know. I feel like Friday, really the biggest issue was lack of offense, only putting up one run. And it was a solo shot by Alonso in the ninth inning.
And not to cut you off, and I thought this before the year, and I drafted him on one of my fantasy teams. Luzardo is a good pitcher. Like no one talks about him, but good velocity, good command, strikeout stuff. So you understand that in a respect. I mean, I know obviously one run is unacceptable. I'm saying, but he really did shut down the offense.
Yeah, and it was just like really tough at bats too, because you're looking at that game, and a lot of guys like Nimmo, like McNeil, even Narvaez, honestly, he's been batting really well. But the three of them, like the whole Mets lineup, gave Luzardo a tough time. There's some really long extended at bats. I mean, he only lasts 5 2/3, give up 2 hits, 4 walks, and 5 Ks. So, they were, I think, really like I said, giving him a tough time, forcing him to throw like pitches outside of the strike zone to try and get strikes and get people swinging. And, which is why, you saw 4 walks out of him, only struck out 5 people. So, again, good at bats, but then they just weren't getting on base was the problem. They ended up flying out or grounding out, and the at bats just weren't really that quality, although they were lengthy, right, to get Luzardo out of there. But other than that, I mean, in terms of pitching, at the end of the day, David Peterson only gave up 1 run. You love that. Tommy Hunter came in, pitched 2 innings, only gave up 1 hit, no strikeouts or anything, but caused a lot of ground balls, honestly. So you'll have to see that, because I feel like Tommy Hunter was someone last season who didn't really look that great.
And hasn't looked that great for a little bit.
And, he was kind of forced to be put in with the way the Mets bullpen was into high leverage situations. So if that comes, to fruition this season, and you can kind of trust him. And again, pitching 2 clean innings, I think is great. I don't care about strikeouts at that point. But on to Saturday, because Saturday was a nice dub here. Talk about starting pitching. Tyler McGill got the start. Excuse me, obviously at first was not going to be in the starting rotation. But obviously,
because Hunter was supposed to be, right? Originally,
Hunter said that. Yeah. But because of Verlander, McGill gets a nod here for his first start of the season. His final line, he threw 93 pitches, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. So I mean, again, like for someone who is young, who we know has to develop more to be thrown in this situation because of Verlander's injury, and to be almost asked to fill his shoes at that point, because that's gonna be the comparison when everyone ever talks about his outings is this is a start that Verlander should have. But at the end of the day, to kind of deal with that pressure, I think that was a solid outing for him. And again, probably what impressed me the most so far by the Mets is their bullpen. Bullpen, they used 5 guys out of the bullpen after McGill. And it was really a clean bullpen run there. Santana pitched for 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Drew Smith came in, only made 2 outs, gave up a hit, gave up a walk. Again, that's another pitcher who we know is young and from last season needs help with control a lot. I feel like sometimes, again, he had a couple of outings where it was just on the money. His fastball was dialed in, but we saw more often than not where he just struggled with control. Really finished up that outing, and then Ottavino comes in for an inning, gets 2 strikeouts, and then David Robertson closed out yet another game here. Only give up another hit.
Looking good.
1K. Looking really good.
Teams.
Did you really?
It was a value pick. I knew he's going to get saves. If you've been a closer, a team has a needed closer,
right,
you're going to get first opportunity.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you really love to see that. You're really hoping that level of play is down the stretch of the season.
And I just thought of something because he's a former Yankee too. Did you see Chapman in Kansas City hit 103 miles an hour on the gun? Everyone's like, oh, he's so relaxed now, happy to be out of the limelight. I could see him having a good year. Maybe they flip him at the deadline, and then he implodes on whatever
somewhere
team
else
that acquires him.
Oh,
for your sake,
it's not the
hopefully
Mets.
Not the Mets.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, be interested to definitely watch him over at Kansas City.
What's Robertson hitting on the gun?
Like 97, 98, I think.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
wow.
I think he pushed one to 99, but
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe who's the Mets pitching coach?
Oh, dude, I forget.
I just forget after Regan retired.
John Hughes, something like that.
Okay. Didn't actually Regan try some lawsuit against the Mets?
Yeah. He did for age discrimination, dude. For age discrimination. The guy's like 100 years old, Michael.
Look around.
Speaking
of 100
dude.
years old, too. One last thing, and then we'll get back to this. I saw when I was watching the Rangers game last night. Bochy, I didn't really he was having a tough time walking. like
Oh,
to the
Bruce
pit,
Bo-
to the mound and stuff. It reminded me of like LaRussa.
Oh God.
But I
you
guess
think-
he's probably a similar age. But it could be too. You
Oh,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
He's completely fine. He just maybe his like knees bothering him or
Yeah.
something. But I just didn't realize like that it was that. So hopefully he's all right. Maybe he just needs to rehabilitate. Who knows?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But anyway, Saturday, Mets scoring. Alonso had a big dinger. He went 2 for 3. Was walked twice. He had a great night offensively. Mark Canha had his first home run of the season. Went 3 for 4 on
First of many?
Saturday. With 2 ribbies. First of many, Brian. You know it.
Over under 20. You're definitely gonna say under.
No, over. Fuck you. Omar Narvaez on Saturday, a guy I said that looked good at the plate. Definitely needs some help with running the bases here, but 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on Saturday too, dude. I don't know, I feel like Narvaez came over from like the Brewers. He's like 31, dude.
Yep.
Like, but right now he's looking great at the plate, looking great catching too.
Mhm.
Never know. Maybe picking to have him and as one of your 2 catchers, it was kind of a good move by the Mets.
Yeah, but you almost is it like with a little sour taste because then you feel like it might push back Alvarez, or do you think let's say Nito struggles, then that opens up the spot?
Honestly, yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if that does happen with Nito.
Mhm.
Just because we've last year again, it's nothing great out of him.
You're right.
He's a good defensive catcher, but no action at the plate really. And with Narvaez, pretty solid. Yeah, I would say if Nito's going out, why not?
I mean, you really need him or Vogelback to just completely tank at the plate because then that just opens up that spot.
Yeah, literally. Speaking of Vogelback, DH on
0 for
Saturday,
4.
0 for 4 with a strikeout.
167 up to this point. Did he do anything yesterday?
No,
Of course not.
I don't think so. Speaking of yesterday, though, let's go to yesterday. Big storyline yesterday. Mets ended up winning 5-1 here, but the biggest storyline was Kadai Senga's first start in the MLB for the Mets here. And oh my God, Brian, did you catch any of this game by any chance?
I heard about it. We ran into trouble early, right?
Ran into trouble early, dude. First inning, okay, like walks, hits, bases loaded, like literally, dude. Like you're thinking, like Jesus, dude. This guy, like, he had no control over.
Must be that gyro ball,
dude. I didn't realize that the balls in the Japanese league are smaller.
Okay, I didn't know that either. Actually,
they were talking about him adjusting to the bigger American baseball. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much smaller it is, but that's pretty crazy. Nonetheless, dude. I mean, you're sitting there in the first inning, like I said, bases were loaded. I think he had a couple ground outs to get a couple outs, but I mean, you're thinking like, oh my God, dude, this guy has no control. Like everyone's just hitting him. Like this is brutal, dude. I think the end of the inning was a fly out to Marte. Nothing, I guess terrible. Given the circumstance, but the Marlins, did score 1 in the first. I think at that point, the Mets had scored 2 in the first, right? So you got offense, thank God, was off to a hot start. But then literally after that first inning, I mean, Kadai just settles down. And for some reason, somehow, just like it's a fine. I don't know if he was talking to Buck in the dugout or whoever, but comes out totally different guy, totally different pitcher, totally dialed in. Again, not great outing, but I mean, in terms, of how he started, his final line was 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. Threw only 88 pitches, so definitely not ideal for what you would want from him. But I think given the circumstance, given the fact that, you would imagine it's clearly nerves is the reason why he wasn't doing well. The man was just very nervous, I guess, with his first start. But then, he found that fork, found the ghost fork ball. And, that thing was just outrageous. I mean, it was striking people out left and right. People were looking foolish. And it was funny. I forget who, it must have been Ron Darling talking about like the difference between like his fork ball and like the rest of everyone's, because in reality it's just a slider, but he just doesn't have, typical sliders have like when you hold a baseball, there's like a space here, which allows for more velocity, but he has it tight to his palm, so it's more movement, less velocity. Which is no one else really does that. So I get, having that again, like you look at it and it just looks like it's like low, just on the lower part of the strike zone. And then the last bit just dips, dude. And it was getting a lot of people out. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how he develops too. I mean, imagine, his next start, if he isn't nervous or anything like that, got 1 win under his belt, what he could do to start off a game. when he's just really dialed in from the get-go. And you saw him after, when Buck took him out. I mean, he was hanging out in the dugout. He was laughing, having a good time. So it seems like, again, just getting that pressure of having your first start out of the way seems like it's gone. So you expect more production out of him. But I mentioned how, we had offense right away in the first inning. It was honestly typical, like Mets just hitting ground balls, getting, nice singles, men on scoring position. I think McNeil, I think there was an error in the field and Connor ended up scoring. But then fifth inning, you get his first home run of the season, Tommy Pham, with a nice bomb,
Big game
433 feet, dude.
Not quite Stanton,
deep,
but deep.
Come on, it's really deep. And then he had an RBI double, I think, too, later on in the game. So he's hitting pretty well. Again, another guy. I mean, Tommy Pham has got to be 33, 35, maybe, right?
Yeah.
We saw him have, I guess, a little bit of some resurgence with San Diego, I guess. But other than that, you weren't
very productive.
Yeah, you weren't expecting a lot out of him.
Hasn't
and then
stole a base in like 5 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, a big game out of him. Interested to see how he does now. Kind of maybe he's getting rolling.
But are you proceeding with caution, or are you kind of like jacked up about Pham?
Oh, no. Proceed with caution for sure. I mean, you think, again, imagine, the age, the lack of speed down the stretch of the season. What's he going to look like? Excited for production right now. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, as we get down the stretch of the season, we'll see. Hopeful. But yeah. And then again, I mentioned Senga going out, bullpen, Nogasek, Curtis, and Santana, all, clean bullpen run there. Nogasek closes out the final 2 innings of the game, actually. 1 strikeout, 2 walks, 1 hit. So solid out of him, I would say, to stretch him 2 innings this early in the season. Another bullpen guy you had no confidence in last year, too. So to get some momentum rolling, I mean, the Mets, great series against Miami here to start off the season. What looked like what could be a very sad season already from the start. Hey, man, we won 3 out of 4, got Miami. I think we got Milwaukee tonight.
Milwaukee this afternoon.
This afternoon, yeah.
10,
so
110 local.
Yeah, dude. So
Miller Park, or actually now it's American Family Field, but a place that I've been before.
Oh, really?
Saw the Mets play actually back in the day.
No kidding.
Yeah, Gene Segura was the all-star shortstop for the Brewers. That's how long ago it was.
Oh,
Tony.
my God, dude.
Yeah, so let's see. It was 2000, I think, 16. Yeah, because I did it. I think it was. It was tied in because we did the Packers preseason game too. So
that's sick, dude.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Grandy was playing for the Mets at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. And that kind of like leads me into our next topic. We'll have to make some picks for today. It's nice.
You want to get to some comments from Prefer first?
I think Prefer can wait a second.
Wow.
We'll get to him at the end.
All right.
So, it's nice too that we got all these like days off because of opening day kind of out of the way. 2 afternoon games, the Mets and the Giants and the White Sox. And we'll start with you kind of talking about this Mets matchup. Just wanted to give you a quick update here regarding, we just had made one stretch of picks. And actually, I was just thinking too, what did we say the deadline was again? Do you remember?
I don't think we did.
We didn't?
You want to do, do you want to take it to the All-Star break?
Wow. So we're going heavy, huh?
That would be a heavy one, unless you want to
through the end of May. 2 months.
Okay.
That's a lot. That's a long time. All right. So we'll put that
June
out
1st.
Here, through June 1. And you picked up 1 point on Friday. I picked up 2. You hit with the Padres, lost with the Mets and the Dodgers. I hit with the Guardians and the Astros, and obviously the Dodgers lost to the Diamondbacks in that Friday game. So
classic.
That is where we are. We'll go 3 apiece, and I know you want to start with talking about the pitching matchup between Freddie Peralta and Cookie Carrasco, making a season debut, American Family Field, 2:10 Eastern. What do you have for me?
You love saying American Family Field, don't you?
2:10 Eastern.
2:10 Eastern. All right. So, all right. Looking at this game, man, super tough. I mean, I'm going to pick the Mets, honestly. I mean, I was just talking about how much of a role they're on, because of this past week and how surprisingly good they've been. And you'll get someone, like Milwaukee, like Peralta against Carrasco. I kind of like those odds, honestly. I think Peralta, I think he had over a 4 ERA last year.
Live arm.
Yeah. Cookie, on the other hand, I think had a tick below 3-4, maybe like a 3-4 or 3-5, maybe. But he was 15-7, had a solid record. Just had a couple of games of outings that he really imploded. But I just feel like against a Milwaukee lineup who I understand like scored 9 runs last night against Chicago. I don't know. I feel like the day before that, they only scored 3 runs. Like, yeah, that that they're 2-1. They kind of found their bats last game. I just think against Cookie, I feel like it's a lineup he can navigate, honestly. The off-speed pitches early on here. Again, a final line from him, maybe we can get to 6 innings, 3 earned runs. But I just think at that point, our offense is going to just absolutely pounce on Peralta.
Well,
Khan's doing well. Omar Narvaez, first home run of the season tonight. Let's go, dude. I'm telling
clock
you.
for Alvarez.
I'm
Tony.
telling you, dude. Yeah, I know. But still, give me the Mets. I'll say the Mets win here. I'll say tight too. I'll say 4-3.
Wow, 4-3. Robertson again or no?
Robinson again, absolutely closes it out safe. Let's go.
Wow, that's interesting stuff for sure. And I think that should be a good matchup. The Brewers won 2 out of 3 to start their season, so I think they're going to be a team that'll definitely be respectable this season. So obviously I'm going to start with the Yankees here, and I mentioned Nestor Cortez making his season debut. And I'm sure you've seen them kind of dial it back with his pitch count, going back to last year, and obviously, far exceeding, the amount of innings that he had pitched up to that point in his career. So I think they'll take it easy with him to start, but he's a guy that works quick, very efficient. So I don't see why, he can't give him 6 innings, only throwing, low 80s on his pitch count.
Yeah, come on.
I feel good about that. And then I do feel good about the Yankees against Tawan Walker here. So you look at Walker, there's a couple of things to point out. Obviously, overall, the numbers, were okay last year, but the typical second half slide for him. And just if you look at, so against the Yankees in his career, 4.07 ERA. And let's see, he's allowed 12 homers in 42 innings. So they've obviously taken him deep. And then when you talk about specifically Yankee Stadium, let me just pull this up here. 3.65 ERA, but 4 homers in 12 innings. So they've obviously been able
to a lot of home runs
to take him deep. And I mentioned about him, first half, second half. So how about this, Tony? First half, and this is for his career. He's 32-24 with a 3.49 ERA. And then in the second half, for his career, he's 18-23 with a 4.58 ERA.
Brutal.
And he's pitched, how about this? He's pitched 114 less innings in the second half of his career, but he's given up 5 more home runs. Jesus. So the long balls just kills him in the second half. And
let's also talk about the fact that the Phillies pitching staff in general has started out horrifically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously yesterday was a 2-1 game, but the other games, I mean, they were giving up
like
tons
11,
of runs. Yeah,
14,
tons of runs to the Texas Rangers. But yeah, I just have not, really, it goes back 2 years ago with the Mets with Walker. Ever since then, I just have not felt like you could really count on him to give you a respectable performance, on a start. On a normal basis here. So I think the Yankees will jump over him early. That the crowd, it should be another packed house in the Bronx. We got some pretty decent weather today as well. So like I was saying, I'm going to say Nestor goes 6, strikes out 9, allows a solo home run to Alex Bohm, Tony, but that's the only offense that the Phillies muster up. And the Yankee pitching has had a good start to this season. I mean, you think about it, 2 shutouts over their first 3 games. They'll allow 1 in this game. I think Stanton will go deep for the 3rd straight game, Judge for the 2nd straight game. Anthony Volpe will have 3 hits, 2 steals, make a couple nice plays at shortstop. And at the end of the day, it's a nice, clean, let's call it a 7-1 decisive Yankee victory in a rematch of the 2009 World Series.
Wow, dude. Love it. Love the pick. And I will say, just watch out for Walker, though. We've seen him start out real hot.
Not against this Yankee team, please. Don't want to hear it.
Okay. All right. My next pick, I'm going to go with St. Louis here, actually, at home against Atlanta. Charlie Morton getting his first start of the season for Atlanta. He is matched up against Jake Woodford, dude. The 26-year-old right-hander. for the Cardinals here. Pretty interesting. I think has had first time starting, I think,
Oh, wow.
this season. I could be wrong, honestly. I'm just trying to look at some of his. Okay, no, he had one start last season. But other than that, he's out of the bullpen. And last season he had 2.23 ERA over 48 and a third innings pitched here. So pretty solid. I think he may run into some trouble in the Braves lineup, but I think for the most part, his stuff is good. And honestly, right now, I mean, I feel like St. Louis has been doing a phenomenal job with their bats, kind of, again, picking up where they did last season. They just won 2 out of 3 against Toronto. Their loss was a 10-9 loss. So they scored 9 runs anyway. And then a 4-1 victory and a 9-4 victory. So the bats have been hot. I think it's Nick Gorman. Is that the guy?
Yeah,
Nolan Gorman, excuse
Gorman.
me. The 22-year-old lefty, 2 home runs and 6 RBIs already on the season. So doing pretty well. And of course, Paul Goldschmidt, already still, again, picking up where we left off last season as well. So I would imagine the bats can get going against Charlie Morton tonight. I think another shootout in terms of scoring. I think it's going to be a home run game here. Give me St. Louis winning this game. Say 7-5.
All right. I'm gonna go with the dog, a nice slight dog here. I'm gonna take the Royals. They're 0-3 to start the year.
Kansas City.
But they got Brady Singer on the hill.
Great starting pitcher.
Yeah, mid-20s. Has some good stuff. Has been inconsistent at times, but he's going up against the epitome of inconsistency in Jose Barrios, who just has really fallen off a cliff. Since he's been on the Toronto Blue Jays, and I want to say, since he's been there, that Carlos Carrasco probably has outpitched him, which just tells you all you need to know. So I could just see Singer having a nice performance. The Royals, like I said, obviously they've struggled up to this point. Their first 3 games, 2-0 loss, 2-0 loss, and then the 7-4 loss. So I think, the bats will kind of start going here. And I think, they'll jump over Barrios early. And I want to say, he only goes 3 innings, gives up 4 runs, and the Royals, due to Singer's strong performance, let's give Singer 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, and 1 run allowed. And I want to say the Royals are going to win this one 8-2. Sal Perez, who had 47 home runs a couple years ago, 2 home runs to set the tone, Tony.
Love it, dude. I do like Perez, dude. He's got a nice big bat, dude.
Yeah, he'd be nice Mets catcher,
Yeah, no, he definitely would be. But we had enough catchers. All right, next pick here. I'm going to take the Angels, a team that's kind of started off pretty hot here.
I almost took the Mariners.
Well, dude.
You see, what's his name? Ray's on the IL already. I forgot what the injury was, but that's tough.
Really?
Robbie Ray,
That is tough. Age, dude.
Yeah, I'm surprised though. You're not a George Kirby fan. He's starting for the Mariners.
He's solid, but Reed Detmer's starting for the Angels, dude. Your guy. I feel like we know about the no-hitter, whatever, but I just think Ohtani and Trout have been kind of literally on top of the ball in terms of their bats. They beat Oakland for 2 out of 3 games here. They lost 2-1 their first game, and then 13-1 in a 6-0 victory. I know it's Oakland, but I mean, the last 2 games you only gave up 1 run and you scored 19. Quite the run differential. And look at Seattle. I know about George Kirby. But they lost. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now. Again, beating Cleveland 3-0, but after that, a 9-4 loss, a 2-0 loss, and a 6-5 loss in 10 innings on that last one. So I just think they really kind of haven't really found their consistent bats yet. And George Kirby, possibly outing. But again, I feel like Trout, you're in trouble here. Anthony Rendon having a nice angry year. So give me the LA Angels winning the game. Let's say 4-2.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, decent start for them. Obviously, very, very, very early on here.
But you're gonna take the Mariners.
I would have taken the Mariners, yeah. But what I'm gonna do here.
What are you gonna do?
I am gonna take the Houston Astros.
Wow.
Hunter Brown, Tony. That's a name to circle. He could have a big year. Live arm, pitched out of the pen a lot last year. They want him to be a full-time starter, and I think the arm talent's there. They're going against the Tigers, the Javi Baez-led Tigers. And we know all about that. And Matt Boyd, second cup of coffee with Detroit, but I mean, I know he made the All-Star team. What was it, 5 years ago at this point?
Yeah.
I just don't think there's that much left in the chamber here. So I think Houston jumps over Boyd. Maybe Bregman goes yard. And I think Brown really neutralizes that weak hitting Tigers lineup. And I'm going to say 5-0 Astros. Just setting the tone, getting things going. We know, that's what it's all about, of course.
Yeah. No, I love it, dude. One more?
No, we're going 3.
Going 3. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Let's go 3.
Nice and tight.
Nice
Tony.
and tight, dude. Nothing crazy, man.
We got 2 months of picks here. But so baseball is great. I'm so pumped. But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Yes.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Patrick Goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot. Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan Stahl. Oh my goodness.
Gets the top right back. Terrifying and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliance from Igor Shesterkin.
It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
All right. So the Rangers rebound yesterday.
Oh,
We had a
yeah.
nice 5-2 victory over the Washington Capitals. This was on the heels of a disappointing Friday night overtime loss to the Sabres. Obviously, a team that is not going to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But Artemi Panarin still in the show here with 3 assists. Has really distributed the puck well, and we've obviously seen an onslaught of goals from him recently as well. So continuing his strong play. You had goals in this one by Miller, Lafreniere, Kakko, Tarasenko, and then Zibanejad closing in on a 40-goal season here with number 39. And this was a game that they controlled start to finish, leads of 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 4-1, and eventually 5-2, which was the final number. So a nice win for the Rangers. Shesterkin didn't need to do too much, stopping 26 of 28 shots. So they're really, kind of playing the way you want to see heading into, the Stanley Cup playoffs, which are just around the corner. And we've had a little shuffling in the standings, and Boomer was talking about this on the radio before. I just wanted to verify this. So right now, the Rangers are in 4th with the Maple Leafs in 5th, 1 point behind them. Tampa sitting in 6th. But the Rangers, we got 5 games left. They're only 3 points behind the Devils. So you never know. A couple more slip up by the Devils, and it could be the Rangers playing the Lightning. And I know we talked about, of course, that isn't what we want. But I was surprised that the Devils, I think, it was like 6-1 they lost last night or something.
Yeah.
I know, obviously playoffs are clinched, and they're kind of, just thinking about that. But it's going to be interesting to see how these standings shake out. And despite a disappointing loss on Friday, though, at the end of the day, Tony, we have to be pretty happy with the way the New York Rangers are finishing out this season.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, of course. I mean, you said it really well too. I mean, the Rangers controlled this game from start to finish. Just looking at, some team stats here, the Rangers outshot the Capitals 34-28. Face-offs were just so dominant. We won 33 out of, 56 here. So dominating the face-off circle. Power play opportunities were 1 for 4, which is okay. But 12 block shots, only 5 turnovers, dude. So again, one of the big things we were talking about the Rangers needing to do to be better was puck retention, and now only 5 turnovers in a game. That means you guys held the puck a lot. You had possession. You put yourself in a position to score. And I mean, that's exactly what they did. They scored 5 goals. You mentioned who scored. But I would say, honestly, Patty Kane had a great assist as a Zibanejad, but Hedl and Lafreniere. Did you see Lafreniere's goal?
No, but do you have it pulled up here?
Dude, we have it pulled up, and we're going to watch
They're not going to get tight
right now. Yahoo Sport might get pretty tight, but I don't know, man. Let's just, it's muted. Would be totally fine.
I won't tell anybody.
Dude, just don't tell anyone. All right, here we go, dude. Yahoo Sports. So this is Lafreniere's goal. We're going to see a little bit of play here as the Rangers go into the Washington Capitals zone. Kind of sloppy. But what you do see here is a nice turnover in the neutral zone. Hedl takes advantage, Lets it go for Lafreniere, who has a
That
crazy,
was a crazy
good
crossover.
move, dude.
What would we call that?
Yeah, you can call it a little toe drag to a
Yeah.
crossover. Sure, dude. Absolutely dirty goal. And Heedle with a crazy, just like no look, dump it out behind. Lafreniere picks it up here, drags a little bit. Oh, dude. And then the backhand to finish. I mean, we've seen so many good backhand goals this season. This has got to be up there. At least top 5, dude. So nasty. Just between his legs, makes absolute minced meat
That's
of
what
that
you
defender.
expect that out of a number 1 overall draft pick, right?
Yeah, no, it's exactly what you expect. And again, having that, hopefully, having that momentum for him, for the kid line in general, going into the playoffs would be phenomenal. Igor Shesterkin, I know you mentioned, didn't face a lot of shots, but with the Washington Capitals, there was a lot of quality shots. He was forced to make a lot of quality, good saves, and there were some saves where, oh man, he was stretched out, full split, just gets the pad on it, dude. So he made some great saves. He's looking playoff form for sure. And yeah, dude, I mean, it was a phenomenal win. They were messing with Washington's head too. I don't know if you saw it towards the end though, but Ovechkin was getting tight. Tom Wilson, everyone's kind of getting into little tussles, dude, getting real physical. Ovechkin gets thrown out of the game towards the end there. So, I mean, they were absolutely toying with the Capitals. A team, that struggled this season, looking, to kind of have that playoff push. And obviously, looks like they may not get it. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. It was just a great game by the Rangers. Definitely playoff feel, and to kind of beat around the Washington Capitals that they did was super impressive. Looking like this going to the playoffs, I'm more than confident no matter who we play.
Yeah. And speaking of who we play, 2 days off, and then they will get the Lightning at home. So that's kind of a nice warm-up game for the playoffs, as they get into the final 5. And Jay coming in here.
Jay Bird said communication is key on this play, which it is. Heedle making a pass, not even looking at his guy, high-octane goal, that is for sure. You love that, again, the sense of urgency that the Rangers had on Sunday. They know the playoffs are right around the corner, and they have to be in the best shape they are going in. And they are. They're doing that, dude.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Good feeling for sure.
Do you want to get the first comments? You don't want to get the first comments.
Okay, yeah. Before we talk Final Four, let's go to the first comments.
So he says, your thoughts on Angels third baseman Anthony Rendon film grabbing fan and trying to slap him during tense argument. Did you see that video?
I did. And what I would say, 2 words to Mr. Rendon: play better.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I think that's kind of weak. And I want to say that he was like, I guess the guy called him a bitch or something.
It's so ridiculous.
It's like, honestly, like, fucking control
what are you gonna
yourself,
do? You gonna
dude,
go fight him in the stands? Go ahead, go
ahead.
fight him. Pull around our test.
And you know what, dude? He went to slap him, fucking missed. Okay.
Embarrassing. That's my comeback player of the year, though. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Off to a
Anthony.
great start,
Let's
dude.
get suspended for 20 games.
Giving shame to the name. Oh, you were muted there. What'd you say, Mike?
He's a bum.
Oh, I thought he said something else.
I think you said fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And then before says your thoughts on Dodgers fans gets tackled by security disasters on-field proposal during the season opener.
But this is like a waste of time, a waste of a discussion.
Oh,
I mean,
what
are we talking about here? Everybody knows you can't go on the field. Ha ha! It's so funny. It's so cool. Like we're wasting our time.
And then he says Sangazilla and Fantastic.
So what I would say to prefer,
I like Fantastic.
Sanga, I'm impressed with. I just think Fam, we've seen over the last couple of years, maybe there's a renaissance. But I wouldn't expect him to keep up this pace. But Senga could be a key cog in that rotation. And really, he's other than McGill, who we'll see when Verlander comes back if he remains in the rotation. But he's like the young buck at 30 years old, which is kind of funny to say.
It really is funny. And then he asks our thoughts on DeGrom and Bassett throwing stinkers over the weekend, dude. I can take this one first. I mean, DeGrom throwing a stinker. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on the 15-day IL after that one. But I don't know. We'll see.
Bassett will be just fine though.
I think Bassett will be fine.
Consistent as always.
Yeah. And again, maybe just a new place, new scenery. He has to make a little adjustment. I mean, it's a shame because we saw him come out pretty good last year when he was forced to make the opening start for the Mets.
That's right.
So I don't know. I don't think that highly of Bassett. I don't think he'll have a great year. And then DeGrom, I don't know, man. I mean, that first outing is like creates a huge question mark.
You're out.
I'm not riled about it.
You
I
are.
guess. I mean,
Look
yeah.
at the smile.
There's
on
a
your face.
little, there's a little snicker, I guess, when I saw
Right.
that line, dude. I
Right.
mean, and the Rangers still end up winning the game anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it should be interesting to follow along, his season, dude.
It seems crazy saying this, but I don't know with that lineup. I mean, no matter what he does, I mean, the Rangers might be good. I don't know. I like Garcia. I like Simeon. I like Seager. I mean, those are talented baseball players. So.
I mean, yeah, if they keep having that type of offense consistently, I mean,
who knows?
Yeah, dude.
Who really knows? That's for sure. If you could get us that March Madness graphic,
you love it, dude.
We had an exciting weekend. And like I talked about, and it was our mistake on Friday's show, we forgot to talk about the Final Four happening this weekend.
So funny.
But like I said in the video, don't worry about it. UConn's got it. Here we are, and UConn finds themselves in their 5th national championship game in the last 25 years. No team, I believe, has been to even more than 3. So you just talk about a dominant run that they've had, the model of consistency. 30th victory of the year on Saturday, a 72-59 victory over the Miami Hurricanes. This is a game that they led by 13 at the half. Got close for a second, but then what do you know? Sanogo, another double-double here. 21 points, 10 rebounds, so really leading the way for the Huskies. Hawkins had 13. Caravan had 8. And you also had Newton, who had 8 assists. So everybody, playing a role, and it just, you could really get a sense that this team, the cohesiveness that they're playing with, it really is going to be tough for anybody to stop them. And they've clearly been the best team in the NCAA tournament up to this point. I'm interested to see what Sanogo does. I haven't looked at his draft projections, but 6'9", 245. So obviously he's a tank. But it's just, do they think that he can play power forward or even center at the next level with that height? Do they want to see him, continue to work on his 3-point shooting? I think those are questions that have to be answered. But obviously, he's got a game that he's preparing for tonight. So we'll see what happens. But also, definitely have to say, too, my apologies. I feel like, I really, going into this tournament, have been pretty tough on Dan Hurley, just because, he hadn't won a tournament game. This is his 5th year as coach, but he's really stepped up. He's shown, what a strong family he comes from and what roots his dad, Bobby Hurley, set down at St. Anthony's in New Jersey, the consistency that he had over there. You could tell he learned a lot from him, and he's really leading this team right now. He's inspired. And I can't wait to see them play tonight. And speaking of tonight, they will be matched up against San Diego State. So their Cinderella run to the national championship game. And what a game between them and Florida Atlantic, down to the buzzer, and really heartbreak for Dusty May in this Florida Atlantic team. I mean, you were up by, I believe it was, 7 points going into the half. So, I mean, it's disappointing, and you botched the last possession. You gave San Diego State too much time to have the ball, a couple more seconds, which obviously at the end of the game, makes a big difference. And especially because they were actually, their lead in the second half ballooned up to 14 points. But we've seen under Brian Dutcher, the longtime assistant, at San Diego State, and going back to the days at Michigan with Steve Fisher, just how long he's really, this is like his, I think, 3rd year coaching since Fisher retired, something like that. But what a job he's done. And eventually, at the buzzer, Nance with a great call in his second to last tournament game ever there. Butler, the game winner. So 72-71. But obviously you got to tip your cap to Florida Atlantic, 35-4 this year. And I know some of the jobs have already been filled, so maybe he'll have to wait another year. But if not, I mean, you would imagine Dusty May has to be up for a lot of coaching positions. I mean, taking Florida Atlantic to the Final Four, it still doesn't even sound right saying it. And on the other side of things, like I mentioned, Brian Dutcher, 63 years old. and just a committed coach. You could see the passion on his face here. And actually, believe it or not, I didn't realize Steve Fisher has been retired for longer than I thought. So Dutcher actually took over 2017, but he was an assistant coach under Fisher from 1989 to 2017. So you just think about how long that is. You're talking 28 years as an assistant coach. So really putting in the tough work. His guys have responded to him, but he obviously has a very, very tall task tonight, in Houston, Texas. And one thing that I have to say, and it's like with the NHL sometimes with scheduling, how we can make adjustments. We've seen it in every sport. You think about baseball, pitch clock, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Why does our national title game need to start at 9:20 Eastern? Could someone give me something for that?
I don't know. I mean, do you think they're worried about something about maybe the fact that it's on a Monday night too? I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird that it's on a Monday night.
Yeah, it's like, been a Monday night. The college,
what you say, Mike?
College football.
That's my Monday night.
It's been a college football championship. Has always been on Monday, but
Really?
you could start the game at 8. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't, God forbid the people in Houston, the game starts at 7 o'clock local time. Oh, geez, out in California, it's 5 o'clock local time. Let's stop worrying about these other time zones, Tony, because the majority of the people are on the East Coast. And that's just a fact. I mean, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
So
Is that a fact?
It is. Yep.
There's more people
Done.
in the Eastern time zone than anyone else?
And especially if you're comparing East versus West. All right. And I know you want to bring out the research department, but while you're taking a look at that too, I just wanted to say, so in this game, UConn,
Eastern most popular region. Nearly half of the country's population.
Yeah, exactly. 7-point favorites here. So expected to handle San Diego State. Obviously both teams on a run here, but for UConn to win every game by at least 13 points this tournament, that's a dominance that we haven't seen. Even all their other title teams, we haven't seen that. So it's just, nothing. I mean, I know, the big 14-point second half comeback for San Diego State, but I just think this is where the dream run ends for San Diego State. UConn is too much of a Goliath for them to be able to take down. And I think, maybe over the first 5 to 10 minutes of this game, we'll see San Diego State play them tough, play them physical. But by the time it's halftime, I'm expecting a 10-point lead for UConn en route to like a 16, 17-point victory here. Dan Hurley,
wow,
his, first, obviously, national title. I think Sonogo will get the Final Four most outstanding player. And UConn will get their 5th national title in 25 years. What a run it's been, and what a run it's been for Jim Nantz. So I think, a Connecticut native himself.
I called it.
It's
I
too
honestly
poetic.
called it in 2019 when I visited UConn.
Yep.
Watched Hurley's pregame practice at noon. Tony will appreciate camera op that day. Get there early, set up. And I knew then he's going to be there I didn't know he was going to win this soon.
Right.
But I'm like, this guy's going to be here for 10 years. Like, they found their coach.
Right.
He has such a tight ship during practice. It's not even funny. And he's yelling at them, dude.
Yeah.
He's so loud and angry.
But he got that from his father. That's really what it is. And
you know what Matt would say?
For UConn too, to rebound in this way, because Kevin Ollie, despite a national championship in his second season, turned out to be a huge mistake. Questions about the work ethic, and you could tell that Dan Hurley is the polar opposite of that. He's a worker, he's a grinder, he's gonna get everything out of his players.
The grinder.
So UConn is obviously very proud to have him as their head basketball coach. I can't wait to watch this one. Anybody have any anything different any different thought on this, or it's kind of the same? It's been meant to be since day one, or no?
I guess so, dude. Are you kind of tight that we had the opportunity to pick UConn and decided against it?
Yeah, I'm kind of tight that I let you talk me into it.
What the fuck?
You and Manny, Tony Manny together.
Yep.
Sitting in the tree.
And I did start it. I said,
stupid.
"Oh, Richard," like I was getting a little nervous.
You were doubting. You were a doubter
No,
too.
he was
You were
all. Yeah,
the only one that could have done it was Mike, and he
Yes.
wasn't here.
I know.
So
all right. I mean,
point the finger.
I feel great about being wrong, though. It's nice that UConn's in this position.
Yeah, right.
And it's nice too, because I think this kind of really, really establishes, and I think everybody, just due to recency bias, kind of didn't think about UConn as a blue blood in college basketball.
Right.
But if you have the most titles in the last 25 years by 2, clearly you're doing something right, Tony.
Right. How do you feel about San Diego State, honestly, though?
Great run.
But
I mean, basketball lifer, Brian Dutcher, all of that. But they haven't had to face a team like this. That's it.
Yeah.
UConn has faced better teams than San Diego State. So that's why I don't think they're going to have trouble. Sonogo is an animal. Can't wait to see them cut down the nets. That's it.
that's cool, dude. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. 9:20. Jim Nance, the swan song.
Honestly, it works out because then, by the time we're done with Gaming Corner,
right.
it'll probably be just coming on.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. But the only other thing I wanted to mention is, and speaking of Nance, because obviously this week is the Masters. So after this game, right to Augusta National. So that's going to start on Thursday. We'll break it down on Wednesday. But the warm-up tournament before the Masters, as always, the Valero Texas Open. Corey Connors, the Canadian, 15 under par here. Opened with a 64, closed with a 68. Shot 72, 69 in rounds 2 and 3, and is your Valero Texas Open champion. I believe this is his second Valero Open title in the last 5 years.
wow.
One shot clear of Sam Stevens, who shot a final round 66. Not enough there to finish in second. Sam Ryder tied for third with Matt Kuchar at 13 under. Patrick Rogers, 11 under par. Going further down the list, Ricky Fowler, great tournament, but just not enough for the Masters. Tied for 10th at 8 under par.
Not bad. My guy,
Your guy was
22nd, I want to say.
wait, what's his name? Who was it?
Taylor Montgomery.
Oh, Taylor Montgomery. Yes, 22nd.
No. Woodstock is Keegan Bradley. No, yeah, he's sorry. You guys couldn't hear Mike. His mic was muted. Keegan Bradley, Woodstock, Vermont. He's probably watching our new vlog right now, dude.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, so definitely check out that vlog. And I was gonna say too, though, Patrick Harrington, though, shout out to him, 51 years old, plays on the Champions Tour, leads them in driving distance, plays this PGA Tour event, leads after day 1, struggles on day 2, but ends up 8 under par, tied for 10th. So for a guy that's a regular on the Champions Tour to come out and compete with the guys on the PGA Tour fit for a top 10, matching what Ricky Fowler did, that's great stuff. And Ricky, by the way, did close well here, 6 under on Sunday. So a 66 for Mr. Fowler. Unfortunately, he will not be playing in the Masters. It is insane that it's Masters week, and I tagged you guys on a couple things. Just showing the new tee box. I believe it's on 15. The fact that Tiger arrived yesterday, so he's getting ready to roar, Tony. The azaleas are ready. The birds are chirping. Can you guys believe that it's Masters week?
Yes, I can, honestly. It feels like it. I smell it.
It's in the air.
It is in the air.
In the air.
You
So
said it. You said it
we
best.
will definitely do a big breakdown for that on Wednesday.
Wow.
But other than that, we're just pumped up, and I believe a slightly early. We're thinking possibly 6 o'clock for Gaming Corner. I saw that on the
Shooting
YouTube
for
page.
6, dude. Yeah. Shooting
Yeah.
for 6. I think I don't have class today, so
Oh, okay.
it's definitely doable.
Okay.
So yeah, I figured get done a little bit earlier, watch the national championship game.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
MLB the
keep
Show
an eye out for that.
2023, by the way, guys.
MLB the Show
Big day.
2023. I'm looking for my revenge against Tony. I was embarrassed last time. Couldn't get a hit for my life. Then late in the game rally.
Bottom of the ninth.
wasn't enough.
It was literally like Phil Nevin sending Gary Sanchez home.
If that
honestly,
wasn't,
it was so bad.
It was. But if that wasn't like an omen for Edwin Diaz, like I don't know what was.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If that,
Yeah, Michael likes that one, dude.
if that wasn't, so we're pumped up for that. Matt will be in the house. He's pumped up to talk about the Yankees.
Matt's
game.
gonna be
He's
here.
gonna be here?
Yeah. Like, are you guys asleep at the wheel? I mean, what's going on?
Are we in the same group chat as you two?
It's funny.
you
I
guys
guess
texting
there's
each other, maybe?
now with Jay, I feel like there's so much talk, and I throw my stuff in there and I get out.
Yeah.
I don't even look in there.
You don't.
But and we talked about this at the top of the show.
Too much
but,
to keep up with. Dude.
Matt,
Group
great
chats.
job with the
Just call me,
GoPro
man.
yesterday, and I think there's going to be
So
a lot
excited.
of vlogs of us at the stadium this year. It's great
Yeah,
stuff. I
dude.
can't wait to share it with everybody.
Yeah, blogs written.
Um,
Vlogs, not
dude,
video.
Vlogs.
Vlogs, guys, vlogs. I know you guys have been big on that since I met you. I remember the first time I said blog by accident. So you're not teaching me something new here, sports. But yeah, we're pumped up for that. So
Yeah,
6
dude.
o'clock Gaming Corner. Other than that, though, anything else on the way out? I mean, Knicks clinched the playoff berth. Mike thinks
No
we're
one
going to be able to go to the
cares.
Garden for $10.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that. What was your get? Because when you said that though,
Dude.
what was in
Yeah,
your
what's
head?
cheap for you? Like
What was the
$70
number?
bucks?
Yeah,
what was the number?
for
first
cheese.
round,
100?
100 for like you. The court looks like an ant.
Stop. There's not a
Is
bad
that what,
seat.
you know what I'm saying? But
There's
is that
not a
what,
bad seat in the garden,
There
I
isn't,
thought.
dude.
what if you have that bridge in front of you?
No,
No,
that doesn't
that's a
block your
bad
view,
seat.
dude.
A little annoying though, no?
Yeah, maybe a
I
little
mean, you're not
annoying.
gonna choose to go there if you don't have to, no?
No. But I'm telling you, I actually went to see the Knicks play the Mavericks. Dirk's last game in the Garden with Gino Ganello.
That's
we
sick.
were up in
Remember that.
I saw Vince
rafters,
Carter's
dude.
that year too.
It's not
Wow.
about you right now.
Always like Vince. Always like Vince.
Bye, Tony.
Excuse me. You know what's a shame? Maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. We'll see. But I really can't wait to take you guys to task on LeBron. I'm just so excited about that.
Maybe after Easter, there's a little bit of a
No,
lull.
gaming corner.
you
We
know?
can talk about it. A
No,
little bit,
It's
possibly.
baseball and gaming corner, dude. I'm not focused. Don't
All right,
distract
but I'm
me
just
while I'm
saying, 'cause
playing.
you guys
that
are just clueless there. Anything else though? That's it. Really?
Oh,
We're just
yeah,
pumped up for gaming corner.
No, yeah, Vermont Vlog out there right
Vermont
now.
Vlog,
Premiered
yes.
this morning. You heard Michael allude to it. We were in Woodstock, Vermont. Suicide Six Mountain, Saskadine Mountain. Phenomenal skiing experience for everyone. A great snowboarding experience for Michael, and just overall tip-top vlog of Downtime TV going off the grid. At least Renee and I went off the grid. But go check it out, dude. It's a great time. It's over an hour long, Brian. So
Yeah.
maybe when you come home from work, since there's so much time between you coming home from work and the start of the national championship game, maybe you can watch it then.
There we go, Tony. There we go. But once again, a great show today. Really appreciate everybody tuning in, continuing to comment, like, and subscribe, checking out the archives on our YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee in costume. All of the old episodes of the Sports
also-
Report, of Screen Time, all of our vlogs.
How dare
and
you interrupt
also,
Right now, hot post. Mighty Morphin Power Plumbers officially announced. The photos are out. Go check the IG, like, share, set your freaking reminders.
yeah, set your reminders. Set your reminders for Gaming Corner at 6. Also, take a look at the merch at downtimetv.com. Spring is in the air from Augusta National. And I know I botched it a little bit. What
It's
are you
okay,
gonna do?
dude.
But we want everybody to enjoy their day. Let's go Yankees. And we will see you mañana.
On the gaming corner.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.